Hello everyone, today I want to discuss a stereotype that has been bugging me since years. Have you noticed how in fictional stories there is always no more than one or two scientists, and they might be evil geniuses or incredible luminaries, but they're always geniuses, they're always weirdos, they don't have social skills, and they almost always work alone. Now this is almost never true. Not only, but independently from the fact that the role is a positive science role or a negative science role, this stereotype is actually damaging our society. So this video is part of a series about this book, Quasi-human, a scientifically accurate fiction. Now, we live in a world of people that communicate science under the banner of, oh, we are trying to make science look cool, okay? Well, what I did here is the exact opposite. I started from the premise that science is already cool by itself, and I added an element of storytelling to it to deliver this message. So if you want to read a book that shows you how cool is science without having to add distortion to it, well, you might want to check the link up there or in the description of the video. In the meantime, you don't need to know the book to keep watching this video, so let's just carry on. Are scientists all nerdy loners? Well, not at all. But the best way to show you this is by telling you how science turns into technology, into stuff that we use. And the first process of this chain is called pure academic research. Is that research made by those famously underpaid people that work in university mostly, and they live their life generally underappreciated by society. Well, the reason for that is that their work doesn't give money to anyone. It's just research. It's just looking around for new phenomena to study. And yes, because of that nature, a lot of times is actually useless. The outcome of their research, on the other hand, is not money, is not technology, is simply a piece of paper that everyone can read and use and copy and do whatever they want with it. And this piece of paper simply says, hey guys, we were looking at this experiment and we found this very weird thing that happened. How cool is that? So from this picture it looks like these are the nerdy scientists, the geniuses that live in isolation and play with toys all the time and so on. But that's not true, because all this science is conducted by either using very complicated machines or very complicated lab techniques or very exotic knowledge. And so if a person, a very intelligent person, would have to learn how to build, how to maintain, operate and master these techniques, he wouldn't have time to discover anything. He would spend all his life learning, or her life learning. So plenty of times, all the time, scientists rather go around and ask colleagues, specialized colleagues, to help, to collaborate with them. And they would go around and say, you know, I found this thing, this looks very interesting, would you like to use your technique to see if you can see it as well, to validate my theory, okay? And because of this, science becomes an extremely social environment and political in its own way. So if you're not capable of relating to other people, if you're socially inept in science, you are most likely to fail miserably. However, the most important thing to understand here is that all technology is made by picking those phenomena that has been discovered by these scientists and exploit them to either improve existing technology or make something completely new. And so this process might be useless, but this uselessness is the fuel of all progress. Okay, so now we are scientists, we are in our office and we are shuffling papers, you know, like that, okay? And all of a sudden we stumble upon this paper of these guys that says, you know, we have found this very spooky cell. It can become any tissue you like based on where you place it. And then there is another paper from other people that says like, yeah, we have replicated the study, we have copied it. And we have grown skin tissue, and another guy that says, oh yeah, I've done it as well. I've managed to make muscle tissue. Now all of this is useless. These guys are just playing with a toy. They're not making anything life-saving. They don't have a point, okay? This is just an oddity at this stage. But we are geniuses. We are very clever. And we really, really love bacon. So we know that if you can grow any biological tissue, then you can grow bacon. So let's make the bacon tree. So we are at the second stage of this chain. And now we have an idea of how to turn this into a technology. We go around our department, we go maybe to other departments, and we look for food enthusiasts, bacon enthusiasts, and maybe people who have already worked with this kind of cell, which are going to be very useful for us. We convince them that growing bacon in a lab is the newest, biggest thing. So we convince some people, we go to the lab, we try it. We obtain something disappointing, but something, you know, and we decide to write a paper about it. Bacon in a lab, the future of breakfast. That's great. At this stage, there might be some journalist from the newspaper that comes and takes an interest and interviews us and makes an article about us that is going to make a lot of people in social media either very angry or overly excited about our new thing. And there's always going to be the guy who comes up and says something along the lines of, yes, that's what is wrong with science nowadays. They could cure cancer, but instead they're making bacon, which we already have anyway. Yeah, so something like that. On the other hand, there's going to be scientists out there that pick up on our paper, try it, replicate it, refine the technique, write another paper in response. And we do the same. We pick their paper and we write another paper in response. We refine our technique. We get better and better and better every time. And so at this stage, mind that everything that we do is public knowledge. There is no money. There is no product. We are just trying. We are making bacon congress and bacon conferences and bacon presentations to other bacon researchers. And all we are doing is sharing ideas with other people. Sometimes it's political, sometimes we're not sharing, we are overstepping, we are stealing from them. We are trying to figure out what is useful that they have learned that they are not telling us. Okay, it's all very intriguing. But one day we come back to the lab and we found out that the miserable PhD student, which is obviously doing all the grunt work, has created the perfect slice of bacon. The meat tastes awesome. There is a perfect layer of fat running through it. This is the Caravaggio of all breakfast. It doesn't hurt the environment. It doesn't hurt our body. It's perfect. Okay. Now we have a product. We know we can sell it. And at this stage, what we are not doing is publishing a paper. We are trying to keep this secret because we want to take credit for our idea. We want to patent it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to some rich people and we are explaining to them that our idea is a huge moneymaker now. We can mass produce it. It doesn't hurt people. And so this can be a product that can be sold. And these people, these rich guys, these investors are going to give us some money to form a company, and we call it the Bacon Tree trademark. Okay, and at this stage, we have reached the third step of the ladder, the industrial research. Problem. To mass produce our bacon, we need robots. We need machines that probably don't even exist right now. We need things that are specifically designed around our bacon manufacturing process. Now, are we some of those guys from the movies who are capable of mastering all mechatronics in a week? Certainly not. And it is also reasonable to assume that the other guys that we met at the Bacon Congress last year, they are at the same stage as we are. They are running against us. If we don't patent this thing, if somebody else patents it before us, then we have a problem. We get nada. We get nothing. We go back to stage one. We have lost. And so again, we are in a highly exciting, highly sociable stage of development. We have to hire a lot of people, all masters of their trade, or people who don't waste time learning, that can make this thing happen as quick as possible. We also need to market it. We need people to buy our bacon once we have started production. And if all of this goes well, then we have coronated our dream. We are now the Steve Jobs of cholesterol. As you may have realized, all of this process started with a vision, started with an idea. And as a society, we have a tendency of idolizing people with a vision, especially in the past. We've done this. We have called them technological revolutionaries, okay, and things like that. But is this vision actually that important nowadays? I have my doubts. So, the problem of a vision is a problem of the past, of previous generations. 20 or more years ago, it was very difficult for people to imagine how technology was going to look like. They didn't believe it was going to happen this fast. But now, we all got used to it. If you enter a room full of scientifically educated people, no matter from which background, you realize that all these people have a rather clear idea of how the future is going to look like. They all have a shared vision, which is completely different from what was happening in the past. So here is the question though. If we all share this vision, then why does society struggle that much to achieve that future? So the fact is that the previous generations, they have built industries by the dozen. They have built corporation empires, all based on the fact that they believed how the world was going to work. They thought, I don't know, the combustion engine was the best in the world. They thought that to eat meat you had to farm animals, that to produce electrical energy you had to burn coal or have nuclear. Now, if you have spent 50 years of your life becoming the biggest farmer and bacon manufacturer in the world, would you like to scrap all that investment in favor of a new technology? Would you like a young man to come knock at your door and be like, you know, guy, you need to get rid of those 50,000 pigs that you have. You need to scrap all your infrastructures because now I have a machine that makes the same thing in a lab. Or you are much rather to see that person as the enemy and run lots of marketing campaigns saying, bacon in a lab, that's disgusting and it causes heart disease. Even though all bacon causes heart disease, even yours. So one of the lessons here is that when you see or read people either supporting or attacking science, you need to ask yourself a question. Is that claim based on science that was produced in the first 2 stages of development? The fact is that academic pure science is almost never financed by corporation because it is useless. It doesn't generate revenue, and so if it doesn't make money, corporations are not interested in investing in that. So the scientist who's making that experiment, who's gathered certain proof of things, well, he's gonna earn exactly the same money on whether what he found supports a claim or denies it. Yes, pure science is useless. That is why it's so important. If it wasn't useless, it wouldn't be trustworthy. So it's stupid and it's a lie to say, pure science is not useless. Yes, it is. And that is a good thing. So the historical fact is that humanity has been shaped by technology. The structure of our society, our little habits, what we eat, what we do during our day, is actually defined by technology since the beginning of history. So a few decades ago, maybe the dream was to become an industrial emperor. Now it could be maybe being a Wall Street broker. But today, most of the excitement and even most of the money is probably in a lab somewhere. There is no evil geniuses, there is no antisocial nerds anymore. Those stereotypes might have worked a few decades ago when scientists were few and they loved to be considered above all society. They were elitists. But today scientists are not like that. They are entrepreneurs. They are people from all different backgrounds who collaborate to try and push humanity towards the future that they envision. And if you have a vision for the future, if this is something that you want to contribute, if you want to be part of that push, of that pushing force, well, I do think this is a very good place to start. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you find it educational and that you understood a bit better how it is to be a scientist today. Now, if you want to read a story that describes this process in a more storytelling kind of way, then I would suggest you this book that I authored, Quasi-human, a scientifically accurate fiction. This is a science fiction, but it tells you science in the way that you should expect it in reality. So if you want to check it out, there is a link up there and in the description of the video. In the meantime, thank you for listening and take care.